You've heard all about the potential of new Arizona State quarterback Cutter Boley. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the addition of one of the newest Arizona State quarterbacks and how he could be a special addition for Kenny Dillingham's Sun Devils. We're going to be taking a look at 5 of Cutter Boley's best plays from the 2025 season, where, of course, he was the starting quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats. And he's familiar with pressure, both defensively and then, of course, playing in the SEC at home and on the road. And in this matchup against one of the best defenses in college football in the Texas Longhorns, Bolley handles the pressure, diagnoses it, and is still able to deliver a spot-on throw to where only his wide receiver can come down with it, resulting in a big first down for Kentucky. So, before you can actually get to the play, what is on paper here? Well, for Cutter Boley in Kentucky, this looks like they're going to have pressure. Right now, Texas showing a cover 0 or a cover 1 look. What separates cover 1 and cover 0 here is it's cover 1 because you have a single high safety on the back end of this defense that is going to be playing center field here, really the last man. So everyone else here, if everyone up here is actually blitzing, they're going to be in man coverage across the formation. That's obviously key to Cutter Boley, again, diagnosing the pressure, the coverage, and then getting the ball out quick. So, if everyone comes, Bolley knows he's got to get this one out quickly. Snap the ball. Pressure's coming. Bolley, the entire way, knows where he's going with this football. He's unable to step into the throw, but it doesn't stop him. Somebody with that power in his right arm to be able to make a pretty ridiculous throw off his back foot to the boundary. Wide receiver comes up with it. Big first down to extend the drive for Kentucky. Again, you talk about the potential, the power in that arm of new Arizona State quarterback Cutter Boley, definitely on display here against Texas. A big part of playing quarterback at any level, but specifically Division I college football, is being able to read coverages and diagnose what the defense is going to be throwing at you. And Cutter Boley did a pretty solid job of it while he was at Kentucky. A great example here against the Florida Gators. Kentucky up 17-7. The Wildcats looking to find the end zone, get some points before they go into halftime. So offensively, in a traditional ace formation or a single back set where you have the Kentucky running back here off to the weak side of the formation. Now, diagnosing what the defense is throwing at you, and again, those coverages, Florida out here running a 4-2-5 defense. You've got your 4 linemen here, your 5 DBs really all the way across, and then you have your 2 linebackers here. Okay, so kicking it off right away, we'll pause it here. With this safety dropping the way that he is dropping, and this safety already out of the screen, this looks like they are running a cover 2 defense. So, where are the holes in this cover 2 defense? Well, right here on the boundary, and the same goes for this side, depending on what this corner does here. His responsibility in cover 2 is going to have the flat. So Cutter, you can see the entire way here, doesn't even bother with what's going on across the rest of the field. He's reading exactly what this corner is doing the entire way. Now, if he stays shallow, then he's going to go ahead and throw what you will see here in a corner route. If he decides that he is going to drift, then he is just going to simply throw it to the flat right here. So let's watch Cutter Boley diagnose this coverage in real time and see ultimately where he takes the football. The entire way, this corner stays shallow. Bolley already diagnosing it, throwing it to that corner, and watch this pass. It's one thing to diagnose coverage. It's another thing to make a throw like this against an SEC defense where you do have some athletic freaks on the opposite end. Puts it again only where his wide receiver can come down with it, diagnoses the coverage, right off rip, makes one hell of a throw, first down, Kentucky. This far and away might be my favorite play in terms of potential from what you're going to see with Cutter Boley at Arizona State. Of course, Sun Devil fans accustomed to their quarterbacks being athletic, being able to scramble, keep plays alive, and when need be, go get a touchdown themselves. And that's exactly what Cutter Boley does here against Tennessee Tech. So he takes a snap here. It looks like Tennessee Tech's in man coverage across the field. Nothing that Cutter likes downfield. Says, screw it, I'll do it myself. Runs down the sideline, pummels Tennessee Tech defenders all the way to the end zone. And again, when he first transferred here, there was, of course, the discussion of his athleticism. Is Cutter Boley really going to be as athletic as some of those former Arizona State quarterbacks? We'll watch this one just one more time. Eyes downfield. Doesn't get too skittish here, as you've seen other Arizona State quarterbacks do. Makes a decision after not liking what he sees downfield, lowers his shoulder, and finds a way to punch it in for a touchdown. Cutter Boley, known at Kentucky for mainly being an on-schedule, on-time quarterback. Now, in college football nowadays, you have to be able to make the off-schedule throws. You have to be able to make those sensational, heroic plays as a D1 quarterback to be able to pick up some big-time wins for your team. And although Kentucky didn't win this game against Tennessee, a really solid example of what Cutter Boley can do off of schedule without panicking. Okay, so against Tennessee, I get it. They're down 28 points. You could say it's garbage time, but at the end of the day, this is where young quarterbacks show their talent and where they grow as players. So offensively, Kentucky in a weird kind of 21 personnel here. You got two backs, and in traditional 21 personnel, these players would both be running backs. That's not the case here. One of them is Kentucky's slot receiver. You have the tight end up top here. That's the strong side of this formation, regardless of it being to the boundary side of the field. Tennessee showing that too high safety look that we've seen now a couple different times throughout this tale of the tape of defenses playing Kentucky. So let's go ahead and see what Cutter Boley does here off schedule. A little play action just to get these safeties in these linebackers to hesitate for a quick second, potentially even take a step forward. But in the SEC, they're not going to be biting on a lot of those quick little play action reads. We're looking downfield, sees nothing at this point in time. Got a mental clock going in your head. 1,000, 1,000. Got to get it out, right? And you'll see him kind of going throughout his reads. Here, starts to scramble a little bit. Eyes still downfield. Something you need to be able to do as a D1 quarterback is not get skittish in the pocket, especially when it collapses, because that's when quarterbacks tend to make mistakes. And of course, we're here in the SEC, right? So what does Cutter do? Continues to keep his eyes downfield, heaves an absolute prayer to the end zone. His wide receiver comes down with it. But look, I'll tell you what, there are not a lot of quarterbacks in college football that at that level, as a freshman, can keep that level of composure and throw that ball off his back foot for a touchdown. I don't care what the score is in this game. A great representation of Cutter Boley being able to make those sensational X-Factor type of plays. Now, here's the final example. The last, all eggs are in this basket for Cutter Boley. We've shown you how he can stay poised, how he can diagnose defenses, and I think best of all, how he is willing to go make the difficult plays. And right here, he's able to make the difficult throws, giving his wide receiver a chance to make a play. And at Arizona State, we know he's going to have Reed Harris and Omarion Miller to come up and make these types of plays. Now, something we've seen pretty much throughout this video, Kentucky in a single back set in ace formation from the shotgun. And we've seen a lot of these 4-2-5 defenses in the SEC with these too high safety looks. But just from what we see here, this looks like you're in cover 2 man. You've got your 2 high safeties, and everybody else is manned up. Their responsibility, they as in these safeties, are have the deep halves of the field. So, Cutter from there, with this little play action bite, similar to what we saw in a previous play, gets a little bit of hesitation. This safety on this end doesn't buy it, takes his drop. Now, on the other side, this safety does creep up, does bite it, just a tad, and that is all Cutter needed to know that he was going to take his one-on-one chance with his wide receiver. And talk about one hell of a pass from Cutter Boley here. They'll show you one more replay. This pass to J.J. Hester for the 29-yard touchdown was absolutely sensational. Puts it on the back shoulder to only where his wide receiver can come up with it. And another great example of the potential, the talent, the arm strength, the off-schedule ability, and the sensational X-factor types of plays that Arizona State now has and quarterback Cutter Boley.